Curtis, Mary Lee, these students are pretty much saying they're not going anywhere. Earlier on the mic, a student said that they don't respect that letter. They're not going to respect the demands. And if I simply just step to the side here, you can see it's actually getting louder. I've been here on Monday. I also came on Tuesday. And to me right now, this is the loudest I've seen it. And PD telling me it's unclear as to when the driver was shot, if he was shot after the crash or if he was shot before the crash. It's something they're still investigating. Well, you know, the reality when it comes to tear gas, Mary Lee, officers have to really grapple with whether or not they want to use it. In a situation like this, the University Circle Police Department tells me it's dangerous to use when you have a car that's swerving in the middle of an intersection. It can lead to the car losing control. And this is the third time this postseason. Hello.
Some Cavs spirit or no Guardian spirits going on.
Okay.
Happening here in Cleveland. Can I?
I'll take it. Let's do it really quickly. All
right.
Let's do it. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, as I was saying, Tanisha, this is the third time that the Guardians find themselves facing elimination. And as you can see, these fans aren't fazed at all. I mean, they're out here drawing on people's hands, and we got a C for the Cleveland Guardians tonight. Hopefully this is good luck.
Yes!
They're still contaminated!
A federal judge approving a $600 million class action settlement between Norfolk Southern and those living within a 20-mile radius of the 2023 train derailment. Nearly 55,000 claims being filed.
Decades worth of research being buried!
But some residents say the number of claims doesn't represent support for the settlement.
Do not play a game. Have a moral compass. Do not play a game with somebody's family and health issues. I just feel like the truth was silenced.
The judge also ruling on a 27% fee for attorneys, and some residents saying that money is the reason the attorneys pushed for the settlement, despite many wanting more time and more information first.
They talked about who was getting paid and how much they're going to get paid for, but they didn't even talk really much about the community. It was mostly negotiations on the amount of money that the attorneys, the class representatives are going to get paid.
Lead attorney Seth Katz refusing to speak to us after the hearing. Residents remain concerned about their health, and taking part in the settlement means they give up the right to sue if they get sick later.
We have chemical exposure, we have chemical sensitivities.
While this case is over, some people say the stress of the situation will last a very long time.
Our community will never be the same again. So the loss.
And one woman did storm out of the hearing in frustration, but others we spoke to say they're happy to be part of this settlement and getting some money as opposed to fighting these legal battles on their own, potentially taking years.
Right out this way.
Anthony Batista's love for law enforcement comes from his dad.
Actually, my parents, my father, he always instilled in me a very deep respect for the rules and discipline and do the right thing.
Batista is relatively new to the University Circle Police Department. Less than a year in, he's already having to confront some high-pressure situations. Today, he's driving back to the scene of a large-scale street takeover.
And this will be Martin Luther King Drive here, so it goes past the park.
Dashcam footage from the September event hitting more than a dozen Cleveland intersections and moving into University Circle.
Right here. Stay right here.
Unruly crowds of about 50 people on foot and in cars, disrupting traffic, even seen here blocking an ambulance trying to get a patient to the hospital.
The call came in a couple minutes before midnight.
While trying to disperse the takeover, Batista says he was taunted and his partner shot by an airsoft gun, hitting him in the face, nearly piercing his eye.
They're shooting airsoft guns. We're wondering, when are the real guns going to come out?
Batista handling only one other takeover prior to this one. It's something departments across the state are suddenly dealing with. Cleveland Police Chief Dorothy Todd saying they're learning from the Columbus Police Department and how they respond.
So they have technology we don't have, which are the spike strips.
And also departments across the country, including the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, recently arresting 7 people while responding to takeovers, writing more than 40 tickets and towing 4 cars.
We utilize the drones and then be able to articulate to other officers what vehicles are causing the problem, right? Because we can hone in from far away with drone footage and we can also see the individuals responsible. Who are the operatives, the drivers of those vehicles?
It's my advice is don't do it. You're going to get caught. It's not worth the consequences that you could face.
For Spectrum News, I'm Wiley Jawhary. A city that's still recovering and trying to heal wounds along the way. Akron has been at the forefront of rebuilding trust between the community and the police department. The death of Jalen Walker 2 years ago, a turning point in this community after he was shot by 8 Akron officers. Today, I met with Akron's new police chief. He tells me his goal is simple.
Continuing the push around community engagement, around building relationships with the people we serve every day.
As 25% of officers are eligible for retirement, Chief Brian Harding, who was officially sworn in May, already looking to bring new and good quality officers to the department.
Just looking for people with a call to service, looking for people every day that just want to come in and make a difference in people's lives.
But Chief Harding knows it's going to take more than new officers to build trust in a community that's been through so much. But he's doing everything he can, even meeting with the head of the Akron chapter of the NAACP.
I believe everyone that takes on a leadership role in the city of Akron wants to do well. I have to believe that.
Hill previously criticizing the city's decision in not including a diverse pool of candidates for the new chief, but now having faith while asking for more accountability.
The issue over at the gas station where a man lost his life because of poor, in my opinion, poor police practices which are still in existence that we still need to address.
Hill referring to officers responding to a suspected stolen vehicle, shooting 54-year-old Michael Jones after a struggle.
As we go into next year, we're going to be rolling out additional advanced de-escalation training and tactical training for our officers around how to respond.
Through the good and bad days police officers have seen in their city, it's the bigger picture that keeps Chief Harding hopeful for a better future, bridging gaps between police officers and residents. For Spectrum News in Akron, I'm Wiley Jawhary.
We're going to do the finishing touches.
Greg Lawrence is celebrating 32 years at his coffee shop in Euclid.
Well, I grew up here. I used to come into this very shop when it was a different business way back when I was a kid.
But he says life was different when he was a kid, noticing an uptick in gun violence in his hometown, something that was almost non-existent years ago.
I'm disappointed, I'm sad that this kind of violence can occur. When we were kids, back in that day of the 60s, we would just punch each other out a little bit, have a little bit of roll around, get up, dust off, and go about our day, and we were friends after the fight.
The violence includes a shooting 2 weeks ago in a neighborhood near Euclid High School, about an hour after the game. One teen died and several more were hurt. Euclid police say the victim and suspect are not Euclid High School students, but students were involved, and because of that, the district is taking significant steps to enhance safety during and after games.
We have police officers that are on the game. We have the city actually patrols around campus. One of the pieces we do is what's called the Evolve check system, and that is the same type of metal detection systems that they use at the Guardians games, the Cavs games, the Browns game, almost any concert you go to.
The superintendent says the school will do its part during and even after the game, but says at some point it's the city and police department that'll have to step to the plate.
After a certain amount of time, when the event is over, we turn it over to the city and the police. They handle things from there. So yeah, there is only a certain level that the school can actually run because we cannot police the streets. That's the police matter.
For Lawrence, he believes it's social media playing a role in violence amongst these kids.
So much information is out there within seconds of something happening, and kids tend to react to that, and they think it's a lot of fun to get on TikTok or get on these social media pages and show off that they can be involved in these kind of negative types of behavior.
As Lawrence gets ready to retire, he hopes to leave behind a coffee shop that spreads love and joy in a city that needs it. For Spectrum News, I'm Wiley Jawhary.